This is Jessica, and welcome back to my channel, Hero Born Stitches. It has been a really long time since I recorded, so I apologize for that. Life has just kind of gotten in the way. So on this channel, I talk mainly about cross stitch on my shirt, cross stitch, and other stuff might creep in. Also, like quilting, I am multi-crafter, so you might see some of that stuff too. So welcome. Um, Anyone who is just finding me, I am so glad to have you here. Please leave me a comment. Let me know you're here. Consider subscribing. So you'll get, I don't know, future updates. I don't know, ring the bell. I don't even know what that is, honestly. But I hear other FlossTubers say it. Those of you who watch me regularly, welcome back. Super glad to be with you. I am so sorry. It's been such a long time since I recorded. I seem like I'm really good at leaving little teasers that I'm going to record the next week or whatever. But the last few videos have been a long periods of time in between. Life happens. I don't know what else to say. But I am here today. I have thought about recording this video at least a dozen times, and I just really haven't felt it. So today I felt it, so I felt like I would go ahead and get it down. I'm going to warn you right now, it'll be a long one. I have 23, 24 different WIPs, finished projects, fully finished objects, new starts to show to you. I promise I will actually show haul. I think my last video was a terrible teaser that way. I did have massive amounts of haul, but I was feeling a little bit sheepish about it. So I really didn't want to go through all of it. I've had several people comment that they would have liked to have seen it, personal friends and on the video. So I have pulled out, all the haul that I can remember, which is terrible to say, but I've pulled all the haul out that I can remember and have it here for you guys. So I've got that. Of course, looking at some plans going forward. I know it says in the title, like it's a WIP parade, kind of, sort of a WIP parade. That is because I'm going through so much stuff, but it is by no means all of my WIPs. I don't have an ungodly number of WIPs. I think I have 38 or 39, and you're seeing a good portion of those today. Quite frankly, the whole thought of pulling out all of my WIPs and doing a WIP parade was exhausting. I think there are 19 or something like that you're not seeing today. And I might do that in the future. I do kind of plan on rotating a lot of those into temperature stitching and other things. So I know you will be seeing them. So anyway, let's kind of get started. What I want to do today, I want to do a little bit of a life update. I promise I will try not to make it super long. I'm really good at rambling on. Anyone who watches me knows that. So I'll try not to make that too long, but just kind of let you know what's been going on. And then we're going to start working through WIPs, and that's going to take a while. So grab something good to drink, sit down, grab some good stitching, because we have a lot to go through. Then I really want to, I'll probably actually talk about plans before I start going through haul, because I know sometimes people don't like to see that. So that kind of gives you a good spot just to flip forward. And then just kind of talking about what I'm doing going forward, 2026 plans, kind of before, and then some other things that I'm kind of interested in doing, looking at doing. Little administrative piece first before I start. The winner of the $25 gift card to 123 Stitch has not contacted me yet. And since I have not recorded another video since that, I wanted to give her another opportunity. So Harmony Peel, and I hope I'm saying that right. I thought it was Harmony because there's an A, and I'll put it like down below here. But when I looked at it, I realized it might be Hermione. I'm just not sure. So I'm sorry if I'm slaughtering your name. But Hermione Peel, congratulations. You won the $25 gift card to 123 Stitch. I would love to be able to get that to you. So send me an email, please, at herobornstitches@gmail.com, or leave a comment below and I will get in touch with you and figure out how to get that to you. It's just a digital gift card, so I just need an email address so I can send it to you. If I do not hear from Harmony in the next couple weeks, well, really probably before I record my next video, but I'm kind of thinking about aiming at a 2-week rotation. But if I do not hear from her by that time, I will go ahead and draw another winner and let you guys know that. So that's kind of it with the administrative stuff that I have to talk about. So life update, kind of good. Busy, always busy, but I have had a couple different procedures since I recorded last time. I did get the carpal tunnel done on my left hand, and I know that probably looks a little, oh my gosh, little irritating, a little irritated, but it's really not too bad. The wrap is off, everything is feeling good. If you are questioning whether or not you want to do that, do it. Absolutely have it done. Got hair. It makes such a difference. It has made such a difference in my knitting and my stitching and everything because I don't have the numbness. So that has been really good. You know, we have had Thanksgiving since I think I recorded last, and that was very, very nice. My daughter and her family came in, and that was wonderful. My mom stopped in a couple times on her way through. She spent the holiday with my brother who lives in Kansas City, and she's coming from Wyoming. So she stopped through a couple times, and that was nice, kind of on her way back and forth. And that was really nice. Dinner was great. I had a colleague over from work, and it was a really good time. Christmas also has passed. The holiday season has passed since I recorded last. And my Christmas was wonderful. I got spoiled rotten. Kind of had 2 Christmases, a Christmas with my husband and my 2 boys. And then my daughter's family came in on the 26th, and we had a second Christmas on the 27th with them. So granddaughters and all of that. And it was fantastic. I am still trying to find places to put all my Christmas stuff because it is all disappearing. There's a lot. The house is big. I seem to decorate more every year, and there's a lot. So I have most of it packed up. I'm looking over at it because I've got a pile of it over here just off camera, but trying to get it all back into the closet and do all of that stuff. I do want to share some quick pics with you. I loved our Christmas tree this year. We do not have really high ceilings in the house, but we have a lot of space. And I found this tree. I shouldn't say my husband and I found this tree. We didn't want to, there's no place to go get trees here, like to go cut down our own tree, which is what we always did growing up. What we did for a while growing up, I guess I should say. But most of the places you can go get a tree, and I always have a real tree as the main Christmas tree, although there are several other trees around the house. I didn't really want to go to Home Depot or Ace Hardware. The optimists who usually sell trees weren't doing it this year. And there is a local company who we've had, local-ish company, who get their trees from up in Minnesota. And we've had some mixed luck with them in the past, with the trees maybe not being so fresh. But we decided to give them a try again this year. And they had a new supplier. And I walked in and I just said, they're like, what are you looking for? And I just said, I want a fat one. I want a fat tree. And they absolutely came through with that. So here, I'm going to put up pictures here and here, just 2 different angles of the tree on Christmas Eve with all the presents under it. This does not do how big this tree is justice. I would need to have taken one from the side because it literally was probably about 6 feet in diameter. It was just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And I don't remember ever loving a Christmas tree that much. It was so sad to me to take it down. But by the time I was taking it down, like you walked by it and needles were falling off of it. So I just wanted to share those with you because I'm kind of proud of them, and it just really made my holidays. So I hope you guys all had a great holiday and were able to get some time with your loved ones, and just some time off and some rest and all of that good stuff. Next week is really super busy for me because it's the last week before classes start again. And I have, between my husband and I, we have 3 medical appointments out of town. Live in the middle of nowhere, Kansas, which means to get to any kind of specialists, we need to drive pretty far. So Tuesday is the first one, and that is the shortest one. It's about an hour and 15 minutes away. Thursday is about 3 hours away. My husband actually ended up having a retinal detachment, which is his second one over just between Christmas and New Year's. So ended up having emergency surgery, and the retinal specialist is about 3 hours away. So we have to go follow up on Thursday for that. And then on Friday, I am to Kansas City to see a specialist for all the crazy stuff that had been going on with me previously. So yeah, so it's a really busy week, and then trying to get ready for class and all of that. And so unfortunately, I don't know how much stitching I'm going to get done, but I am absolutely going to try. I'm going to try to leave the life update there. Other pieces might peek in here and there, but I think maybe we should just get started with WIPs. Okay, so the WIPs, I'm going to go through finished objects first. Actually, I should probably start with the fully finished object. Fully finished words, sometimes they're not so easy. So the fully finished object I have to show you guys is not really in my hands. If you remember last time, I showed you an owl that I had finished to put on a front of the front of a bag for my Stitching Connection group, Connection J, the night owls, and all I had left to do was some of the back stitching. Well, I did sit down and do all of the back stitching, and I hated some of the back stitching once it was done. I just thought it looked gross. So I ripped out the back stitching I didn't like and put it into a bag. I was eager to get the package shipped off to the next person in the connection, because we have finally just finished our first exchange a little bit later than we had planned, but we did get it done. And Erica was nice enough to send me a picture of the bag. So I guess I'll put it over here. So this is what it looked like when it was all done. Minus the back stitching I didn't like. So that got put into a bag, fully finished object, and it got shipped off. So I wanted to show you that I did actually get that done. The next thing I need to talk about is finished objects. So I have a number of them. I do have, I don't know, one of them I don't know how to, it's a new start and a finish. So I don't know. Well, we'll just start. The first things I have to show you are the kitten ornaments. I did, if you guys remember, I was way behind with all my stitching. And I think we've already established in previous videos that I am crazy stubborn. And so I really have this goal of trying to get as much of it caught up by the end of the year as possible. And November, I focused on trying to do temperature stitching that was non-Christmas related. And then in December, I kind of switched over and focused on temperature stitching that had a holiday theme to it. In between, I was trying to catch up some of the Great British Baking Show stitching and all of that good stuff. So as I run across things, as I pull stuff up, I'll try to tell you where they're from and what's going on with them. But yeah, so kittens. So the kitten stockings, these I had started forever ago. Like I had shared in previous videos, they were the bath project for my daughter when she was young. I would sit, they were in a basket on the back of the stool, and I would, every time she took a bath, I'd sit down on the floor and I would stitch. So I never got these done. My daughter is 30, so that tells you how long they have been around. But so they have been on my list to try to make some good progress on. This is what they would, I think I have that picture. If not, I will find it. This is what the set looks like when it's all done. I had a red one at this stage the last time I showed it to you. And if you guys will remember, I also had a yellow one that needed the back stitching done on it. So, so these were technically in temperature stitching. Oh my goodness. We have all sorts of creases. I did not iron. So these are what they, make sure I'm not showing you I am showing you the back. Holy heck. Trying not to say bad words. I say bad words all the time, just trying not to say them on video. So this is what they look like finished. So all the back stitching got done on all of these. On both of these, I will say that I did look through the other ones that I have finished, and I was missing some eyelashes on a couple of them. So I went through and did that too. I just didn't think it made sense to kind of pull out the whole set until they were done. But yeah, so these two got done, which was really good. I did start on the third, but I will hit that one a little bit later, a third. It's not the third. I think I have 3 left to do or something like that. So I did start on the next one, and I'll show that to you in a little bit, but it's not a finished object, so we won't go there. The next finished object I have is the Elizabeth Burkham sampler from that Sampler and Reproduction Needlework book. And this is where it was. I'm rusty. This is where it was last time you saw it. I was almost done. It did finally come up on temperature stitching enough. My camera is auto zooming, so please ignore. I will try to make sure that doesn't happen too much. So I finished it. I just needed to finish off the bottom. So like I said, this was started for my sister. There's 4 of us in the family. She's the one directly below me. It is just on some linen that I cannot identify. And we're zooming again. I need to work on that setting. See if I can get it to zoom back. Maybe not. With, I want to say 823, DMC 823. There are errors in it. There are things that are not perfect. There are things that I improvised, like the saying at the bottom, just have her initials and my initials. And now it is ready to go to the framer now that I've shown it to you guys. So yeah, so I got that done. This is, again, a long-standing project. I'm getting seasick watching that. So I'm going to pause and try to remember to unpause and see if I can get that to stop. Hold on. Okay, I think I got it off. So hopefully it won't do that anymore. Now, like the scene looks different, but that's okay. Okay, so that was the second fully finished object. The third you have already seen in my intro video. So this is where it was last time you saw it. It is the We 3 Santa bell pull from forever ago that I found in the needlework casket. Let's see, what can I do with this here? And I got it finished. And you will notice there are charms on this thing. There's a little teddy bear up there. Now, I will say finished-ish, and I'm going to explain that in a second. But there are charms, little teddy bear. There's a little bird. It isn't necessarily where it said to put the bird, but and then a heart. So if you guys remember, I was looking for charms for the October Sky sampler, which you'll see in a little bit here. And this one, last time I talked to you, and having a really tough time finding them because could not find anyone who was carrying these charms. I did end up contacting the company because they're still there and asked for a recommended stockist. And they sent me to the Tinsmith's Wife, which is, oh my gosh, a lovely store, looking on their website down in, I want to say, Comfort, Texas. I will put them in the link. I will link them in the show notes so you can go check them out, which is down by San Antonio. And they said that they carry their charms. They order from them pretty regularly. And so I contacted them. Incredibly helpful, wonderful customer service. And I was able to get the little jingle bells, the charms. They're jingling. I don't know that you can hear that. The jingle bells for the hats. And I got all the beading done and all of that good stuff. Now they had this bird, instead of like by the birdhouse, they had him on Santa's shoulder. That just looked funny to me. So I moved him. I'm not sure I'm crazy about where he is, but it'll work. It'll do. It's central. Now, I will say this is not, it's finished, but not entirely finished, because after I put in the order to the Tinsmith's Wife, they ordered in the things that I needed and I was waiting. And then when I sat down to do the beading and put the charms on, I realized that I have 4 hearts, and they just describe them as puff hearts that I need in those borders. I don't know how I missed that, but it's really such a small thing. I felt kind of crazy about ordering that. Now I haven't ordered them yet, but I need to. And so I'm calling it finished. Don't argue with me about it. It's finished. All I need to do is put those charms on when they come in. And when I do get those charms and get them put on, I will let you know. And then I'll figure out how I'm going to display this. I mean, it's a bell pull. They didn't have the rods. They didn't have a place to source the rods, but I'm going to keep looking for those. All right, heck, I mean, they're rods. I can make them out of dowels or whatever. But yay! So I got the We3 Santa done. I don't have them in the order. They are in the pattern. But if anyone is interested in this pattern, I don't ever restitch things. So if you would like this pattern, I would be more than happy to ship it to you. Please let me know, because it is adorable. It really is just truly adorable. And now I know where to get the charms, so you can even get it finished. And it really is not a long stitch. It should not have taken me nearly as long as it did to stitch, but it did. But it's finished. So there. Okay, so the next one, I'm just thinking, I've got a note someplace. So hold on. I need a note. Okay, I wanted to make sure I gave the right person credit for this, and I had not thought about that before. I didn't bring my note in with me. So everybody was doing these wonderful Advent boxes. I've been so busy watching everybody's FlossTubes and now their WIP Parades and their plans videos, and just enjoyed every single one of them. I haven't gotten to nearly all of them that I want to see, but because there's a lot. There's a lot. Because everyone is doing that this time of year, and so much FlossTube, so much Flossmas. But anyway, I was seeing all this Advent stitching, and I didn't really have anything specifically for that. And I was just jealous. I was jealous. I had some major FOMO, and especially watching Sheldon and his box from Evertote. Yeah, his Evertote box, I think, with the Modern Folk embroidery and the Roxy Floss, I believe. I was watching and I just thought, ugh. And Andrew the Runner Stitcher and his, and I was just jealous. I was just jealous. And I realized I didn't have anything planned like that. And lo and behold, on Instagram popped up Anna Gatova, I believe is how you pronounce it. and Art Mishka stitches, and they had this free advent, and it was just a reason. I looked at previous ones, and it was just a reasonable amount of stitching every day. So I thought, hey, that isn't going to waylay my plans too much. So I went ahead and started it right on the 1st, and I just grabbed a scrap piece of something. I don't even know what it is. Some kind of even weave. I think it's about 28 count. And honestly, no name floss, which I'm horrified that it might. I'm not liking the way this is laying. It's kind of driving me nuts. But you know what? I think it's just that the piece is not school. Now I'm getting all sorts of weirdness on here too. The piece isn't square, so it's just going to keep bugging me. But just some no-name floss that I had from what I don't even know. Like literally, I have it wound. It's not the greatest quality, but it's there. And anyway, so I did it, and I just kept up with a little bit of stitching. I want to say it was about 100 stitches a day. So it wasn't really very much, and I got the whole thing done. So it was a great way to use up scraps. It was a great way to use up floss that I had no idea what I was going to do with or why I even still had. And it took a little bit over one skein. And I think this is still free and up there in its entirety. I know you can find it on her Instagram account. So I will try to put that in case if I'm slaughtering it in the show notes also, so you guys can go find it if you'd like to. But apparently she does one of these every year, and it looks like it's always single color. And like I said, not too much stitching a day to kill you. Like enough to make you feel like you're Advent stitching, but not so much that you're going to die. So yeah, so that was started and finished all since I saw you last time. And I don't know exactly what I'm doing with this yet. It seems like I could put it into a bag really easily. And I'm really all about the bags right now, really enjoying the bags a lot, making the bags a lot, but I also think I could frame it very easily. It's a size that's I could buy off the shelf very easily to get a frame for. So yeah, I don't know what I'm doing with it yet, but I would expect to see this pretty soon as a finished object because I would like to get it finished. So yeah, so those are the things that I finished completely. There's one thing that I'm not counting as a finish, but it kind of is. It's a finish of a piece of a part of a WIP, if that makes sense. So if you guys would remember, I was working on Daffodil Drive by Stitching with the Housewives, part of their series that they had. My gosh, I hope it wasn't 2 years ago that it started. I don't know. I was doing really good keeping up on all of these until I wasn't. And they have one for every month, and they don't have the months on them necessarily, but a different flower in a house. And there's always a street name that goes along with it. But as you can see, there are two pieces to it. There's the house piece, and then there's the sign piece up top. I do have the finishing piece for this, which I haven't finished yet. But I do have the finishing piece. So there are things that I could change out. Last time you saw Daffodil Drive, it was like this. I'm not sure. I think this was part Great British Baking Show. This was part temperature stitching. I will say, going to go back to my little pile here. So this was temperature stitching that got totally finished and got replaced by something. And I will talk about what temperature stitching is in a little bit. This was also temperature stitching that got finished and replaced by something. And the kittens were also temperature stitching that got replaced, got finished and replaced by something, but now they're back into temperature stitching, which is a whole conversation we'll have later. But Daffodil Drive. So this is where it was last time you saw it. So I did get the whole house piece finished. This was Great British Baking Show. And then I think it has moved into temperature stitching, which again, I will explain later. But I did get the whole house finished, so that was good. And that is the majority of it. These are so funny. I have come to learn that I love stitching houses. I don't know what it is. Maybe because they're relatively predictable. They just go so quick. And I love stitching the houses. And where I struggle on these is the flowers. It's not that I don't like flowers. Stitching flowers is a little bit challenging for me sometimes because they're organic and they don't have those nice clean lines. And I love flowers. I have the blackest thumb in the entire world. I kill succulents. I've killed several cactuses. I don't know how I do it, but I can kill any plant that comes to my house. Anyways, whenever I get past the house, and I always do a center start, whenever I get past the house on these, I struggle. I just struggle. These are all done on, I realize I'm not telling you what anything is done on. I guess maybe that's not terribly important. But this is just DMC on this bell pull thing. I told you this is just what was in the kit because that came as a kit. This is on 28 count Monaco, just regular white Monaco with Classic Colorworks flosses. Man, I am all over the place today. I'm sorry about that. So yeah, I just struggle a little bit when I get to them. And it's not that I don't like them, because I do like them. I have to look a lot. And I don't have the PDFs, they're paper charts. So that just takes me extra time. But I did have extra stitches, I think, when I was done. So I started the sign. And you can see I started with the words and haven't quite got them all done yet. And I have the hanging thread because I knew there were other things I had to get to stitching. And I will warn you right now, you will probably see needles in every single piece that I show you today because I have lost so many needles from, I have been trying to take them out when I show you pieces in previous videos. And I am not a person who uses needle minders very well. I don't know why. I have them, but I just don't. And I just end up sticking them in the piece. And I really haven't lost them other than when I take them out for FlossTube videos. Then I lose them. And I'm a needle snob too, and I buy expensive needles. So it pisses me off every time I lose a needle. So you guys are just going to see needles. Sorry, it's going to happen. So anyway, I've got part of the words of Daffodil Drive done. These go pretty quick. There's not a lot of flowers in them. There's a checkerboard border. This should be done pretty soon. It is part of temperature stitching. I think I pulled it out like when I did all the catch up from the Great British Baking Show. I had a spot in temperature stitching and I put that into temperature stitching. So you will be seeing that soon. This is not going to take long to get done. So I need to have a project right behind it because it will get done quickly. Okay, more temperature stitching. Now we're kind of past the finished, almost finished, full finish, all of that, and just on to other projects. So for temperature stitching, what I do, and I kind of copied Stuart from Stuarts and Stitches, who kind of copied Jen from Jen the Craftinator Crafter, I think. And I don't know where the whole thing originated at, and it doesn't really matter because everyone kind of has tweaked it to their own thing. So what I do is every Saturday morning, and it is Saturday today, January 10th, I wake up and the first thing I do in the morning is I look at the temperatures, the projected temperatures on my iPhone for the next week, and I write those down. I have a WIP, a work in progress, assigned to all the digits 0 through 9, and that tells me what I am stitching that week. So let's say like today, when I was looking through the digits, I had a 1, a 5, 2 6s, a 7, 8, and a 9, I think, if that comes up to 7, if I'm remembering that correctly. And so the 1 corresponds to a project. So I put 100 stitches into that project. If a temperature digit comes up twice, I just take that last digit. Then I'll put 200 stitches into that project that week. 100 stitches doesn't take very long, and I've made some really good progress and actually been able to get a number of things finished through doing that. I started doing that, I want to say a couple months maybe before I recorded my first FlossTube, and I am absolutely continuing it. So typically they stay in rotation. The goal was originally for them to stay in rotation until they had been called 10 times, and then I'd swap them out. I have a couple things that were so close to being done that it just was criminal to swap them out after 10 times. So I kept them in there until they were finished. I haven't pulled anything out just because I'm sick of it, although there's one that's sitting in there that I just might have to do that too. But the whole idea is just to work on things that you have not worked on in a while, and just to make a little bit of progress, and that little bit of progress every day adds up. So the next piece of temperature stitching that I have to show you, and these are in no order at all whatsoever, is a dimensions kit. It's called Tis the Season, with some artwork by Charles Wysocki. I have had this kit forever and a day. And this is where it was, right here. Last time you saw it. And this is where I have got with the temperature stitching so far. As you can see, it's really starting to come together. I realized last time I picked this up that I had these little bits and pieces all over the place, like this little thing over here. I was missing one row on the bottom of that, and I am not sure why. Like just colors that connected to stitching that I had already done that I just had not finished. So I really tried to focus on that and trying to fill in some of the holes. And I still have a ways to go. You can see there's holes in the roof. There's holes all over the place. But I don't know how many stitches these got. You guys, I was so far behind. I had it all tracked. I just don't know how many I've put into it. But you can see I made some good progress on it. This is a dimensions kit, and sometimes the floss, it's 10 stitch sometimes, and cross stitch, and sometimes 3 strands, sometimes 2 strands, sometimes blends, sometimes all over the place. So I did not read very well when I started this many, 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 many years ago, and just was using 2 strands of floss. So some of the coverage isn't maybe all that it ought to be. I'm not going back and redoing everything. And there are some blends where it's like 2 of this color and 1 of this color, and I'm just going to wing it when I get there. I'm just going to work with what I have. But I love Charles Wysocki's Winter Scenes. We always, still to this day, receive a Charles Wysocki puzzle for Christmas with a winter scene. And so they just make me think of the holidays. It always makes me happy. I was delighted when I found this kit. So seeing it come to life is making me very happy. I will say that I'm very glad I did a center start on this, because when I started looking at the piece, I think there's maybe 1.5 inch margins at most on this dimension kits, right? So yeah, I'm going to have to watch it. I think I might work out to the sides first, and then maybe try to work up and just see how close those margins are. So yeah, but making some good progress on that, which makes me very, very happy. I really can't tell you how happy I am to be making all the progress that I'm making of my very old WIPs. It feels pretty good. Okay. I feel so incredibly sheepish about this. I almost didn't even share it with you. And then I thought, okay, so it's fine. We are with friends, right? And we're all humans. So for my January temperature stitching, I had 100 stitches to do for the kitten ornaments, which had rotated back into temperature stitching. And then I had 100 that I had to do as a catch-up after those other ones were finished. So I pulled out, looked at the 6, I want to say it's 6 that I had left to do, decided which one I was going to do, got out a piece of Aida because it's just 14 count Aida and started. And these, okay, so these were charted horribly, absolutely horribly. And I just forgot how badly they were charted. And so I did 200 stitches on this little kitten's dress. And then when I was going through pictures today and taking pictures and looking at things, I went, oh my gosh, I did that, the whole body of the dress in the medium green. And then the top of the dress is in the light green. And that's the color that most of this dress is supposed to be, because they don't really, it's not square by square. They kind of like have arrows with like this symbol and it's going in here. And I realized that literally just within the last hour or so. And at first I was like, oh my gosh, I need to pick all of that out. I need to rip all of that out. And then I thought, it's a kitten ornament from the 1990s. Do I really want to spend the time to rip all of that out? I don't. I know I don't. But it's bugging me. It's really bugging me. Luckily, between the light green part and the dark green part on the bottom, there is a red ribbon that goes around the dress. So that will kind of separate it out sort of anyway, I think. I keep telling myself I'm not picking it out. I'm not going to pick it out. I'm not. I might end up just restarting it. It's 200 stitches. And if it bugs me, I will just restart it. I need to make a decision pretty soon though, because it was called this week for temperature stitching. So I might just end up restarting it. Like I said, it was 200 stitches. Doesn't take that long. It doesn't matter. I don't know. It kind of feels like it matters to me sometimes, but then I look at it on the screen and you can see the difference between the medium and the dark, which you really can't very well in person. I don't know. You'll see. You'll see whenever I record again. You will see what I decided to do with it. But yeah, so started a new one and I don't know what I'm doing with it. Okay. Next thing I have to share with you, I'm trying to go through these pretty fast. Next thing I have to share with you is the Lola Crow Stitch Along Extraordinary Birds. This is what it will look like when it's all done. I joined this Stitch Along kind of late last spring, worked really, really hard to get the whole frame done, and was keeping up with all of the features as they were released very well until I wasn't. And I got stuck. I just stopped on like feature 10. So this is where it was last time you saw it. This, I think I moved into temperature stitching at some point, and I'm happy to say that I have finished feature 10. Now, it was called in temperature stitching for this upcoming week, so I will be moving on to feature 11, but I did finish all of feature 10. It was this peacock that killed me. Pattern Keeper updated around the time that release came out, and it came into Pattern Keeper all goofy. And I didn't realize until I had stitched the entire thing and was on the back stitching that I was missing a little row in there someplace. And I was just so mad at this piece for so long. And it took a really long time for me to even pick it back up. I didn't want to pull out everything that I had done for the peacock, because there's a lot of color changes and a lot of different things, but I was just mad at it. Took me a long time to get over being mad at it. But yeah, so I'm not mad at it anymore. So feature 10 was these little birds up here. This guy or girl, I don't know what it is. I don't know. I don't read about the birds. Was that bad? I don't read about the birds. So this little guy down here, the little eggs, and then these over here also. And I want to say there was something else, but I don't know. If there was, I'm not remembering it. So yeah, so that felt really good to get through that feature that had just stuck with me. So this is Weigert's Stormy Night, not vintage Stormy Night, but Stormy Night. And I think it's 28 count. I'm just with the called for DMCs, but it's looking really good. I am really excited to get this finished. I actually, like I said, it got called in temperature stitching, and I think that's the last of its 10 times in temperature stitching. I do have it on my WIP board, which I'll show you guys in a little bit. I am going to rotate it out of temperature stitching, but I'll talk about that a little bit more. I'm sure it will be coming back in, and it is on the WIP board a couple times, because each release is about 1,000 stitches, it looks like. And I would love to get this done. I would love to get this done. It is so close and it looks so good. I've been doing all the back stitching as I'm going. So I just really have 11, 12, 13, and 14 to do. And I think it's 12. Is it 12? No, I think it's 13 or 14. It's huge. So I'll be happy to get that done. But it's looking good, and I'm really glad that I'm making progress on it also. Next one is more temperature stitching. It is another very, very old WIP, October Sky Sampler by Elizabeth Designs, I believe. Super, super old. This is where it was last time you saw it. It has been in temperature stitching, and although it might not be entirely finished, it's getting very close to its 10 times too. 10 times also. I'm not pulling it out till it's done because it's so close. It was so close when it went into temperature stitching. So here is where we are now. I have gotten through this entire border, which is all water lilies. It's all satin stitch water lilies. And this is really the same skein. There's some in my hanging thread. There's pink in it, but not a lot of pink. So some of the sides show the pink and some of the sides don't have any pink. So it almost looks like it's two different skeins of water lilies, but it's not. This has all sorts of specialty stitches. And this is the one that I really was struggling. I didn't know what, I knew what type. I knew the shape of the charms that I needed for the Santa Belle pull, but I didn't have a distributor or anything suggested, because I think it all came in a kit at one point, and I had lost, I had the beads, I just didn't have the charms. This did not come in a kit, I don't believe. If it was kitted up by the local needle workshop. But they had very specific charms, and I was able to locate all those charms and the treasures, and I had the beads. I don't know why I end up with the beads, but not the rest of the stuff. But apparently I do. So yeah. So I finished this whole border, and that was hell. Here I'm saying bad words on camera. That's not the worst word. It was hell. Because it's linen and it has flubs and really thin strands and really thick strands. And according to the instructions, I mean, it's satin stitch and it's 2 strands of water lilies. And I want to say this is a 32 count linen. It feels about like a 32 count linen. And 2 strands on 32 count of water lilies is a lot. And it's fat and it's thick, and it was really hard to know if I was going in the right hole. Not touching that. It was really hard to know if I was putting my needle in the correct place. As I was going through that and getting off count a little bit was very difficult. These corners in particular are hard because they're like, you even take the stitches go out of the same stitch a couple times for those corners. So oh my gosh, I was cussing. I was saying many, many bad words while I was doing that. I love this piece. This piece is inspiring me in a lot of different ways, which I might talk about later. There's really not a ton of stitching in it is the thing, but it's little bits of specialty stitches and it's fun. And so I did this whole border around here. I did this section, which I think was section 11, and this rice stitch. I know you guys are not going to be able to see how cool that looks on there, but that rice stitch looks amazing. And then I moved down here and there's some more rice stitch, and I still have all the beads to do. Most of these have beads in them. So I have this section, which is section 12 to do, and then section 13 to do. And 13 has a fair amount of beads in it. So there's not a ton of stitching. So I am definitely keeping this in temperature stitching until it is done. Again, this is another one of those patterns, which I am very happy to pass on to anybody if they would like it when I am finished with it. And I am very close to being finished with it. It is just absolutely beautiful. I will tell you the pattern is in horrible shape. Like I went through the flood in the basement and there's a little bit of water damage on it. Still very usable, but it just looks gross. It just looks not so nice, but it makes something beautiful. So, so this is just DMC with the 1/over die, and you could absolutely customize the colors any way you would like to. It is really hard for you guys to see how pretty this is. This is so stinking pretty. So if you are interested, holler at me, let me know. I would be happy to ship it off. Like I said, I don't save patterns. Because I don't want to stitch the same thing again. And I have been known to just throw them away sometimes. So I don't want to throw that one away. But I am not in the business of pattern storage either. So if you would like it, let me know. All right, next piece of, I think this is all temperature at this piece. This was in Great British Baking Show stitching at some point, but then it got pulled into temperature stitching. My second oldest WIP, The Princess and the Pea. This is by Hickory Hollow. It is just on 14 count off-white Aida. The Aida, I don't know whether it shows on camera. It does have, because it's been around since late 80s, early 90s. Does have some water damage on it again. And I am not sure how much that will come out. I don't know how much it will, but I'm hoping it will eventually. But this is what it looks like when it's done. And this is where it was last time you saw it. This is my very first counted cross stitch project that I started back when I was 17 or 18 years old. Is ridiculous that I still have it. But I do. And I had always thought that I was going to be having, I always thought I knew I wanted children. I always kind of hoped I'd have a daughter, and I hoped to put this on her wall when she was growing up. As I said before, my daughter is 30. I don't think she has any interest in The Princess and the Pea. But this is where I am. I have just been working on top at the letters. I still have some back stitch to do around the and then I need to back stitch around the rest of the letters on there. And then I'm going to back stitch the hair and the face, the top part of the dress. The window needs some back stitch. The moon needs some back stitch. I'm just working on back stitch until I get this whole top half done. And then I'm going to move down with the rest of the quilts. Just because I don't hate back stitching at all. It's just, you have to be in the right mood for it. And it is so easy for me to just pick this up and backstitch, because I know I'll probably need the pattern for the hair, but for the rest of it, I don't even need to look. I know I'm just outlining letters. So, but I think it is looking really, really good. I was super happy to see how it was looking when it's all done. So this is just all DMC. It does have some Kreinig. The moon and the dress have some Kreinig in them. And the top comforter has some Kreinig in it also. I have to look to see if there's any later. But yeah, so I think this still has a little bit of time in temperature stitching. I'm not sure this is this is close enough to being finished to stay into temperature stitching for me. Again, I will talk about that kind of in my plans a little bit, but if it comes out, it will go back in pretty quickly. I just kind of I'm trying to do something. So I'm trying to do a thing. So yeah, The Princess and the Pea by Hickory Hollow. Work on that. The next piece I have to show you, I know, is temperature stitching also. It is the Piece Sampler. It is another piece out of that Antique Sampler and Reproduction Needlework book that the Elizabeth Burkham Sampler was out of. This is the one that was on the Complete Mystery linen that was salvaged from someplace that I had to soak, and it was disgusting when I pulled this out. This is where it was last time you saw it. I don't think this was owed a ton of stitches, but it was owed some, and I just worked on this tree over here. This is still in temperature stitching, and this is one that is close enough where I can safely say it will stay in there until it is done. I just have the top of this tree, and then there are some motifs. I mean, the whole middle of the piece needs to be done, but it is not heavy stitching. Even though that this is not an enjoyable piece to stitch on for me because of the fabric. It's very rough and very primitive. It actually looks really good with the design. But so there's lots of flubs and slubs. And, but the big thing is that I started it without the vertical thread. And so it is mentally difficult for me to think about while I'm doing it. I have to keep telling myself with every single stitch, no, it's the horizontal thread on this one. It's the horizontal thread. So, I'll be super glad to get this finished also. So, this is just DMC, like I said, on mystery reclaimed linen from something. So there we go with that. Let's see. The next one is a Riola's kit that I picked up. And this is what it would look like when it's done, but I decided to do it on black instead of white Ada. This is where it was last time you saw it. This is one of their wool acrylic kits. I'm trying to make sure I have this held up correctly for you. I fell in love with the idea of doing this. The mailman is walking up the walk and the mailbox is right over there. So we might have a noise that is being made here. Our mailbox is actually a hole in our house that opens up to a cupboard in the dining room, if that makes any sense. Anyway, so Becca does stuff. No, Becca is stitching. I am mixing everybody up today. Becca is stitching, did a Riola's kit in her FlossTubes, and I just fell in love with it. And I was on black, and so I went looking at Riola's kits, and I knew I wanted a holiday one. And this is the holiday one I was most drawn to, but I really wanted to do it on black. And when I looked at it, it made sense to me on black, that you would see the glow from the candles in the fireplace and all of that on black. So I started it. And as you can see, I made some good progress on it. It is in temperature. I moved it into temperature stitching. I owe this one stitches. At the end of the year, what I did, because I had been working on trying to make up as much catch-up stitching as I can to make up as much, because I had some time in there with the first carpal tunnel surgery and a lot of other stuff that was going on where I just did not have good stitchy weeks. And of course, because I'm me, I overloaded myself with projects, whether it was Gridiron Grind, whether it was Whip into Shape Challenge, Great British Baking Show, stitch alongs, you name it. I fell horribly behind. And so I was trying to make up stitches. So what I did at the end of the year is I made up a list of everything I didn't get to. And some of them I only owed like 100 or 2 stitches on. Other things like gridiron grind, oh, for the love of God, like 12,000 stitches. I'm not even kidding you. But I made a list of all the stitches that I owed everything and just made a catch-up stitching list, and have been working through that slowly. So when something comes up on temperature stitching, not 100%, but I'm trying to get as much of the catch-up stitching done as possible. And I know I owe this, I want to say like 700 stitches. It's ridiculous. It might not even be on temperature stitching anymore. I have to look. But here, I'm talking a whole lot. Shocking. So this is where I got to. It is the wool acrylic, and sometimes I look at it and I'm just frustrated because my stitches aren't lying quite as nicely as I would like them to. But really, when you pull away at any distance, it looks so good. It is not the easiest chart for me to work off of either. I did contact Riolis to see if I could get a PDF. Gave them proof. They did give me a PDF, and I have not been able to get that into any charting software to save my life. I am torn. Do I spend a lot of time doing that and make my stitching easier? Or do I just suck it up and stitch off the chart? The charting isn't bad. It's not that it's bad. It's just that there are a lot of, especially in the tree, well, really in everything, like in order to get the effect that you want, like there's all sorts of blends and lots of different color changes, and you probably can't see that from where you are, but lots of different colors and color changes. What am I doing? Lots of different color and color changes, and like this whole like white-ish part that is really legitimately, I want to say 4 different colors and 1 blend in there for what you see. So there's a lot of that, and it is really easy to miss a stitch someplace when you're on a color and then be like, oh my gosh, I gotta go back, Jiminy Christmas, gotta find that stitch someplace else. Like have to go back and catch that one stitch, the one solo stitch there, after I thought I was done with it or moved on to a different section. So it's really, that's upside down. Because this is the tree. This is the tree. And it's like going up. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know whether fighting really hard to get it into charting software is a good use of my time. But part of me thinks it might be, because it would make it a little bit easier to stitch on, more enjoyable to stitch on. I just like, I had done this, and then I moved up here, and then I started filling in down here. But there's ribbons and ornaments and all sorts of stuff. So, I mean, I really am loving the way it's turning out. There is definitely some texture, maybe I want to say, to it that is a little bit different. But yeah, so like I said, everything that came in the kit, the wool acrylic, and I just chose to do it on black Aida instead, and it actually is looking great on black Aida. So I have no complaints about that. Okay, next piece, which is again temperature stitching related, is Little House Needleworks Log Cabin Christmas. This is a sketch out of them all together. I don't have a picture of them all together, but I'm doing them all together. This is where it was last time you saw it. I am glad to say I have finished the 3rd piece of this. This might look familiar to a lot of you guys because Jason of Jason X Stitches did the first 2 of these, the Log Cabin Squirrels and the Log Cabin Bunnies, as ornaments this year as part of his seasonal stitching, and his look absolutely beautiful. I'm not much past you, Jason. I've got the little fox done. There are, as you saw from the picture, there are 9 of these all together. The middle one is just a motif. There's not a little animal or anything like that in there. So these are so fun to stitch. They really are so fun. This is in my temperature stitching. Like I said, I am excited for it to be called again. This one is never called as much as I would like it to be called. There are a fair number of, there's not a lot of big block stitching. I guess I'll put it like that in there. But it is very worthwhile because they are absolutely adorable. Jason, like I said, if you are wanting these when I'm done with them, I am done with the fox now. So I'd be happy to ship that out to you. Just let me know. Because I know you talked about maybe wanting to do the rest of them. Please don't feel like you need to go buy them. I will get them out to you. I think between the amount of time it takes me to get things done and stitching speed and all of that stuff, I don't think I'm gonna, I hope I won't leave you waiting for them. I guess I'll put it that way. Because I know you've got a lot of things. I know he's got a lot of things going on too. So yeah, so Log Cabin Christmas by Little House Needleworks. I want to say Little House Needleworks. Someone please hit me if I am wrong, but Little House Needleworks. Maybe I should stop saying it. I'm not really sure that's what that is. You think? All right, next one, more temperature stitching. We got a lot. Next one is Hands-On Design, Seasons 2, a celebration of something. I'm sure it's on the picture. I just grabbed the picture from their site because I could not find another good picture of it. I started this with a stitch along. This isn't a super, super old one. And neither was, I should say this, I guess. Now I'm looking at this. So this is on some kind of Witchell linen. I don't know what it is. I can tell it's Witchell from feeling it. And I am using Classic Colorworks, the called for Classic Colorworks on it. Okay, back. Woo. Yes, the medicine has not quite kicked in yet. So I started this as part of a stitch along a while ago, not a super long time ago. And I do love it. My intention was to try to keep up with it every month, and then I didn't. That's the story of my stitch alongs. I was really good at keeping up with it until I wasn't. So, like I said, this is what it will look like. I think these are separate. They aren't all together. And this is where it was last time you saw it. So since last time you saw it, so I do have the whole border done. Needle. I'm not taking the needle out. So I do have the whole border done. Just a very simple border to put it together. The border for them together is free on Hands-On Design's website. I was able to finish October and get a good start on November. And I think this came out this week, and it hasn't come up in a hot minute in temperature stitching also. So November we'll be getting some more work. Maybe by the time we get around to the end of the year, we might have everything finished. Hope, wishful thinking. So this is, I think it is 28 count linen from Fiber on a Whim, Cypress, with the called for Classic Colorworks. So stinking cute. So stinking cute. And like I said, there's not a ton of stitching in each of these, so it's really kind of sad that I didn't get them done. But it's getting progress. That's the whole idea behind temperature stitching. Those things that you started and that you just haven't gotten finished and you want to see some progress on, but they're not going to be your focus pieces. Okay, one more piece of temperature stitching, and then we're on to other stuff. We have new starts and other cool things. So last piece is temperature stitching, very old piece, not as old as some of them, but it's Nature's Window. It is part of a kit. I can't remember who the kit is by right now, but it's not any one of the big kit makers that you guys are used to. This is the other piece that I found in the needlework casket when I got it open. This is where it was last time you saw it. So I filled in a lot of those flowers and brought some of that greenery down on this side over here with this. This is so bright and cheery in person. It does have, it's not a dimensions kit, but it feels like a dimensions kit because it's 3 strands, it's 2 strands, it's this, it's that. But I have been really enjoying making progress on this. And it really is, and maybe just because it's 14 count Ada, it is really pretty quick when it comes up. And I've really been enjoying seeing this come to life. Just kind of working on the top half of the chart. There's a whole bottom half to the thing I haven't started yet, but again, so happy to see progress being made on this. Yeah, and this is still in temperature stitching. So I guess before I move on to the new starts, might be a good time. I keep alluding to what I'm talking about with temperature stitching, or what my plans are for it. Oh, I have to show this for you. So this mug was bought for me by my husband. It is a very good size, and this is very appropriate because he always has too many words in the morning. Anyway, talking a bunch. So I decided when I was looking at plans for temperature stitching, what I wanted to do for 2026. As I'm watching, and it's all really integrated, as I was watching everybody's WIP parades and WIP parades and all of that stuff. It's like I do have now. I think I did it after, maybe, I don't know, maybe before I started a FlossTube. I do have a spreadsheet with everything in it, and I record start dates, but I didn't do that for a very long time. Really didn't do that at all before I started FlossTube. And I even realized that that was a thing and that people did that. And I don't know. Anyway, so these people with these wonderfully organized WIP parades, and they can tell you when they started things. I am a numbers person. I'm an accountant. I do not really track numbers and stitching that much, other than when I'm like, oh, 100 stitches here, or I owe this so many stitches. Like, I don't keep track of my totals or anything like that. I am squirreling like crazy, so I'm sorry about that. But yeah, so everyone had these like, oh, I started this back in 2013. I started this back in this day. And I'm like, yeah, I got no idea when I started half of these pieces. So when I was going through and looking at my WIPs, there was a relatively limited number of them that I did not have a start date for, that weren't already in temperature stitching. And I decided, I mean, those ones that I don't have a start date for are definitely the oldest ones. And so I kind of decided that I am going to rotate all of those ones that I don't have a start date for through temperature stitching. That's going to be my priority stick in temperature stitching situation. So unless if something is really, really close to a finish, after 10 times, I want to rotate it out and put something else in that I don't have a start date for. There's WIPs that I have that I have not worked on since I started FlossTube that I don't have a start date for, and I would like to get them in there. And some of those are relatively small and will get done quickly. Out of the list of things that I've got in temperature stitching right now, I want to say 4 or 5 of them really should be done quickly. Like, they don't need a lot of work on them. So I have a lot of stuff like finished, fully finished. So I have the opportunity to move a lot of stuff in, and then I figure once I do 1,000 stitches on it, if it's not really close to a finish, rotate it back out, rotate something in, and with kind of goal of by the end of the year getting all of those things that don't have start dates on them on my spreadsheet, finished. And most of those are very doable. One in particular is not, but most of them are very doable. So that's kind of my goal. So things are going to be coming out of temperature stitching, then going back into temperature stitching. I kind of want to get everything rotated in once before I start repeating them. And that was kind of from the first of the year. Okay. Moving on. So, like I told you guys, our Stitching Connection group made our first exchange, and I got my package from Erin the other day along with her project. So I wanted to show that to you. I have a screenshot of what this is on my phone. So hold on. This is SS310 sampler scissors. I want to say scissors sampler, but that's not what it says. Ilyana Bilic. I'm sure I'm not saying that right. So Erin is Cornflower Stitchery. And so if you are wanting to know where she got this pattern, please contact her. I'm going to tag her below also. She keeps teasing that she's going to start a FlossTube. We haven't seen it yet, but I hope to see it soon. So I got her package, and she absolutely spoiled me rotten, and I'd love to show everybody what was in it. But I don't want to spoil it for the rest of the people in the connection, because I have a feeling she's probably going to do something similar for all of us. So, and I think that must be a Stitcher thing, because I think all of us sent out all sorts of goodies with our packages. So she had finished her quarter, and this is what it is. Now this is using DMC 500, and I love single color stitches. Single color pieces. I'm so into those right now, and so I'm super looking forward to this. And this is on a piece of Ada. I'm not sure of the size, just looking at it, but it looks like she hand dyed it. And there's some really nice color and just slight amount of modeling in there, which I'm sure is not coming across the screen very well. But her stitches, Erin, do not kill me for this. Her stitches are beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And you guys probably won't be able to see that, but they are. So she did the top right quarter. I haven't decided which quarter I'm doing yet, but I'm excited to get going on it. So that came in the mail the other day, and you will be seeing my work on this as it progresses. So I wanted to show you that. That's not really my WIP, but it is now for a little bit anyway. So yeah, like I said, I will link Erin below in Cornflower Stitchery if you want to know where she got this pattern, because I am woefully, I'm not pronouncing well at all. at all. So, okay. Next thing is a new start that came to me by surprise. As I'm sitting there and looking at all of the stitching I need to do and all of this catch-up stitching that I need to do, and trying to get organized and focus on finishing WIPs and not buying anymore and all of that good stuff, the new information came out for the 2026, the Steady Thread Stitch Along. Now, these are something that she does for free every year. I have the one from last year, which I have not finished, and I will show that to you in just a second, because it's kind of playing into my plans here. But because I just had decision paralysis on that one, and I joined late. I am completely rationalizing being very far behind on that Sal and not working on it. But I joined late, and there's like a big border. There was a big border section, as well as all these circles. And the amount of stitching you have to do every week is really incredibly reasonable with these Sals. And it's so generous of her, and she does them for free every year, and they're amazing. It's just getting the border done. And I was late in starting. I think I was like week 13 when I started, And I needed to do at least some, like a certain amount of the border to have the placement of things right. And then I couldn't decide what I was doing, and it just turned into this whole thing. So, and I will show the 2025 and where I'm at on that in just a minute. Well, actually, why don't I show it first? If I can find it. There it is. Okay, I've got this stack next to me. Sorry about that. So this is where I was at on the 2025 one. I'll put a picture up here of someone who was doing this same border that I was doing, and theirs is all in black and white. And oh my gosh, is that stunning? How beautiful is that? So this is on, it might be 28 count fiber on a whim, Ada, that cafe, something I'm not pronouncing because I will slaughter it. So yeah, and I have done work on this since you've seen it. This is where it was last time you saw it. I guess I'll put it up here since I'm showing it to you. So this is how, so I did make progress on it. So before I talk about my progress on this, I want to show you the other one, but this was the one from last year, not even half done. No, not even, but yeah, that's the one from last year. So I'm a member of her Facebook group because that's how you get the files. And it is not too late to start this year at all because everything is still up there. And week 3 was just released like yesterday, I think. Anyway, I saw the stuff for the 2026 SAL, which I had told myself I was not going to do. And I just fell in love. Now, the very cool thing about these SALs that she does is it's kind of like choose your own adventure reading. Those of you who are old like me know what that means, but she has lots of different borders to choose from. For these centers, she has lots of different, like there's like for this one, there were 3 options every week for what you're doing in the circles for the weekly stitch. There's lots of different options for the borders. So you can choose one, you can choose, you can vary, you can just, like I said, choose your own adventure as you're going through it. And that is so fun. And so for this year, the stuff came up and I just completely fell in love with it. And so I told myself I wasn't going to do it. And then I told myself I was. And I gave myself permission to do it. And I'm just doing it on 18 count white Ada that I had laying around. And I'm using Cottage Garden threads in Tool Shed and in Love Seat. I had Love Seat already. I think I did order in Tool Shed. So there are several different border patterns you can choose from with this. There are different center patterns, center borders that you can deal with. And then there are blocks that are all not part of the weekly stuff to put in the middle. And all of that stuff is available for free. And there's lots of different options and you can mix and match kind of what you're doing. But so basically each month, so it's like four weeks, she releases what you're doing in the square, working from the outside in a little bit every week. And this is week 1 and 2, because I have got those done, if you can see that. And you can kind of start to see the variegation and maybe the method behind my madness in what I'm doing. Like I said, it's a variegated red, it's a variegated black and gray. And I'm really having fun watching how that plays off. And then you work in. I will tell you the stitching for week 3 is very minimal. And I'm assuming week 4 is going to be also too, because there's not a lot of real estate left in that block. But then after we go week 3 and week 4, then we move on to the next block. I think we go this way. We might go down. You can go whatever way you want. So I just picked, the border I picked was the one I liked the best, which was all patterns. And I have some of it that I'm doing it with the red and some of it that I'm doing it with the dark grays. And although I don't have any dark, this is all red in the middle so far, but there is going to be some grays and blacks in there also. So my goal, when I told myself I was allowing myself to do it, so how fun is that to start with? So fun, so fun. The hard part is getting the border done. Now, you guys might see these like pink thread lines on here. That is because she made the suggestion to kind of mark the borders of the squares and the centers. I didn't mark the center, but I think I might need to go mark the centers. Just like trying to figure out how to orient the new pieces, the new parts each week. So I have all of that done. I have the entire exterior border done, and I have some of the interior border done. There is an interior border there with many to choose from, and blocks to choose from to put in there. My goal was to get this to a point before she released the first week where I wasn't shooting myself in the foot and not having to look at trying to catch up on border. I didn't want indecision. I didn't want decision fatigue. I didn't want to be like killing myself with all of that. And so I had worked on it, and the border was very rhythmic once you learned what needed to do. I didn't need anything in front of me, and the same thing with the center. And like I said, the amount of stitching each week is super reasonable. So part of me negotiating with myself on doing this was that I had to finish the 2025 one also. So my plan, and I've been good so far, it's all of January 10th. Keep that in mind, is to keep up with the weekly portions of this, which are not that tough. And I've got everything laid out so I could very easily keep up with the weekly portions, and then do one thread length. Cottage Garden threads, as you know, if you have not used them, use them. They're beautiful. Come pre-cut. So to do the weekly piece and do one thread's worth on the border piece that I have left. I think that will put me in. I jinxed myself because I just told you I don't usually lose needles, and this one is jumping out of the fabric. So the weekly piece and one thread towards the border until I get the border done, and then it will just be the weekly piece. So I want to sit down and finish the border so badly because it is very rhythmic and it is fun, but I'm not letting myself do it because I've got other stitching to do. So keep up weekly, one thread length to the border every week. Okay, so that is the goal. And my deal with myself was, if I do that, if I allow myself to start that one, which clearly I did, I needed to do 1 week, which was one circle in this one every week, which is not a huge amount of stitching. It doesn't take very long to get it done. And I need to put one strand in the border. Now I am using Classic Colorworks for this. It's just black coffee for the black, and just leftovers for the rest, kind of trying to stay within a color scheme. Classic Colorworks also comes pre-cut. The strands are a lot longer than the Cottage Garden threads strands, but so I have done week 1 and 2. Well, and it really isn't. I think it's week, what is that? Do math real quick. 8 and 9 technically on here. And I have taken the border down around this corner, counted a million times to make sure I'm right there. I'm going to put in the basic framework for the border over here with the next threads, and then like fill in all this prettiness there. But to me, that was very doable. Like I said, it's not a huge amount of stitching. I've got enough circles there where I don't even need to make circles for a while. And yeah, so the goal is finish this year while working on that. just doing a week at a time. And then hopefully, I know I'll get to the point at some point where I'm done with the border pieces, since I'm doing one thread length per week, where I'll get done with the border, and then it will be very minimal, just the weekly parts to keep them done. So hopefully getting both of those done by the end of the year. So new start and revisiting old start. Another new start. I told you, I've got the new starts going on. Modern Folk Embroidery's new SAL release, the 2026 Little Acorns. Absolutely adore it. Absolutely adore it. And I have been watching the Baldwin Birdies pieces, and I've been watching the Fruits of Plenty pieces that people are doing, and just been so jealous and wanting to start them, but also knowing that I have other big projects, and I knew Jacob was going to release a SAL. So very much looked forward to it. When I saw it, I was absolutely in love with it. So I knew I was going to do it. He has it in his instructions broken down into suggested parts each month. And the first thing that he suggests the first month is like do all of the border or layout surrounding pieces. I looked at that and I was just like, that is not what I want to do. It's not what I want to do, because I want to get stitching on it. Stitching on the prettiness and the motifs and all of that stuff. But when I sat down to do it, I decided to eat my vegetables first. And so I do not have all of it done. I mean, this was my New Year's new start. Started this on New Year's. So, and it's the 10th. So of course I don't have it done. And it's a big piece. Yeah, it is a big piece. So this is how far I am. The first four horizontal lines are done. This is done. This side is done to the point where you see it. Once you get to about this point on this side, those are half stitches with a full stitch every 10. The 10th stitch is a full stitch going all the way down. And then you'll see I started, and the same thing. I don't know why I still did that there, because I knew I'd have it ending point on the other side. I guess I just wanted to double check myself. Then everything you see from that point down is all half stitches with a full stitch every 10th stitch. So I do really have this to the point where I can pick it up and it is no nonsense stitching. Like I don't even have to think about it. I don't need to look at anything. I do have a little bit of accounting to do at the end, not accounting, a little bit of counting to do at the end, because this last wide piece here, what do I need to do? It does have some two vertical lines also that I need to get done. So I do need to do that counting, but I'm going to kind of wait till I get down there lower. I mean, I need to have the thing finished across anyway to do it. So yeah, so that is really at a point where I can just pick it up and like just mindlessly do it. Am I glad I ate my vegetables? Yes, I am. Because I'm not going to have to do any of that in the future. Like it's going to be there. It's going to be laid out for me. I can really pick it up and stitch whatever I want, whenever I want, because he gives you the whole pattern up front. You know, you can stitch how much you want when you want. So that's good. I'll be able to do that very easily, very safely. It also allowed me to cut my fabric. So I was not bringing a whole yard of fabric with me everywhere. This is Fox and Rabbit, Salt Bush. And the floss is DMC 816 that I soaked for a long time in a very, very strong coffee dye. You're not going to see the variegation on it. I don't think anyone probably sees the variegation on it. I just could not. I knew I wanted dark red. I didn't want to spend a ton of money on the floss for this, even though this is the kind of piece that I normally would spend a lot of money on the floss for, but I was feeling very sheepish about all of my stash at that point. And it takes like 18 skeins or something like that, because this is 28 count. So it will be huge when it's done. And this is fabric that I had picked up when it was on sale someplace. And it's a huge piece. So being able to cut my piece was really nice. But the color I wanted is very close to 816. I just wanted some more brown and some more depth in it. There's a little bit of variegation that showed up because 816 is pretty dark to start with. But the coffee dye just kind of, it made it smell wonderful and kind of gave it the little bit more depth that I wanted. So really happy for that. And I'm loving this so far too. Again, this is another piece. Like, I just want to pick it up and work on it all the time. But I also know that I've got these weekly things I want to do. I have the temperature stitching I want to do. So I'm not letting myself focus on it too much. And I think for the 10th of the month, that's pretty good progress. And I should be ready to go. So ready to go. I should be done with that easily by the end of the month. Let's see. Other new starts. I know I had talked about this before. I want to say this is Little House Needleworks also a Christmas market. I'll put a picture of it up here. If not, if it isn't, I'll try to correct myself below. I had signed up for auto ship on these. I really like Little House. I think that's what it is. Gosh, I hope that's what that is. Hold on. No, I will look it up. I will look it up and put it below. I'm not going to pause. That'd be embarrassing. But I'm pretty good about embarrassing myself. Anyway, I had signed up for an auto ship of these. I have done their Big City Christmas. I have all of the stuff for their beach boardwalk. And I'm a sucker for a Christmas stitch, a holiday stitch, and they have this Christmas marketplace. And so the centerpiece, and I'm doing them all together, the centerpiece is like double wide, and then there are smaller pieces that go around it. I am behind on this. I am absolutely behind on this, but I did start it. It took a while to get the thread in. I was just, it's cottage. So this is beautiful beige, I want to say, Witchell. And it's cottage, it is Classic Colorworks. And I just think it was hard to get all of the colors, everything to get the thread together for it right away. So this is my sad little start on that. There's two people in the middle. I've done most of the little girl and started looking at the bottom. These don't take too long to stitch. I just have been prioritizing other things. You should hopefully see a lot of progress on this next time I film, because I really want to. This is actually the December piece, and the January piece has come out already, and it is up in the picture that I showed you. And like I said, it is smaller. So my goal is to kind of get that caught up and then keep up with the pieces as they're released once a month. And I don't think, I'm trying to think exactly how many there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10. So there's 10 altogether. And this is one. And like I said, it's doubled. So new start, kind of pathetic little start, but it is a start. This is kind of eating my vegetables for me too, because when I pick up these pieces, I like to do the whole border and frame it all out first and then fill in these little details. But with doing the center start, I cut my fabric down to the dimensions I needed, and it's Witchell. So it is stiff and icky. I don't love Witchell fabric. It is stiff as all get out, but I cut it down to the right dimensions, and I wanted to do a center start, and so I did. Since it was basically kind of in the center anyway, not 100%, but kind of in the center. Yeah. I don't know what else to say. Yeah. So now I'm thinking about that. Yeah, I don't even want to think about that. I gave myself lots of borders, so I'll be fine. But yeah, so, and like lots of little color changes and not a lot of block stitching. And not that I hate doing that, because I don't hate doing that. I don't mind doing that. It's just, it's not the most gratifying thing, because I like to save some of that stuff till the end. So you've got the big amount done and you have stuff to work off of, stuff to count off of, stuff to weave threads in on the back with, all of that good stuff. I'm trying to figure out orders here. What order? I guess it really doesn't matter. This is not a new start. So maybe, I don't know. I probably should have done this before I did new starts. So Satsuma Street's Holiday House Stitch Along is something that I had decided I wanted to do. And this is what it will look like when it's all done. Of course, it's all finished at this point. Absolutely adorable. So super cute. Was doing good until I wasn't. This is where it was the last time you saw it. I am doing this on raw silver, and I want to say it's Zweigart, with the called for DMCs. I did make some progress on this. This was not British bake-off stitching. It was not temperature stitching. It was just a sal that I had started, and I let myself work on that a little bit during the holiday season. Not nearly as much as I wanted or should have. But what I did, let me see, all folded like crazy here. Anyway, so I finished the second part, which is this beautiful little tree with these little elves decorating the tree. And I started on the third part over here. This side over here. You can, I don't know whether you can see all that sparkle or not, but it looks amazing on this fabric. Highly, highly, highly recommend using the raw silver instead of just that raw linen. But yeah, I do have the back stitch. When I picked this up last time, I realized that I had not done the back stitch. There's just a little bit of it for these elves. They have like little eyelashes and stuff. At least the top one has some eyelashes. There's just a very little bit of back stitch on the second part that I haven't done, which I need to go back in and do. This is on my WIP Go board. I would like to say that I'm going to work on it other than my WIP Go, and I might. But it's not something that's going to rotate in through temperature stitching or anything like that. So as much as I would like to make progress on this, and I would, and I might kind of make it a little bit of a focus during Jolly July or Christmas in July or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I'm glad I have the progress made on it that I have made. But I wish it was further along. And I don't have any immediate plans to stitch on it again, which kind of kills me. I know I know people say stitch what you want when you want, and there is a good part of my brain that believes that, but then I also know myself enough to know that I need some structure, or I'm squirreling all over the place, or it's decision paralysis, so I need some guidance. I do allow myself to pick up things that aren't on that immediate list when I really feel like it. The next thing to show you is really kind of part of haul, but I did start on it, so it is a new start. Stitch is So Beautiful had the most amazing, generous sale going on for a very long time. And I picked up two pieces. This is one of the pieces I picked up. I should have picked up more. I wanted to pick up more. But at a certain point, I was just like, I have so many full coverage charts that I would like to do or that I have started. And even though it is a really good deal to pick it up right now, I rationalized out of it and thought it's not a really good deal to spend the money if you're not going to start on it anytime soon. And I knew I would not be all those wonderful things that kept popping into my cart because they have so many beautiful charts. So I will show you the other one that I picked up when we get to the haul section. But this one I picked up and I cannot remember the name of the artist. So I'll put that down below. But it's a Scandinavian Christmas. I don't even know. I mean, there were so many charts to look through and so many that I liked. But the moment I saw this one, I knew I wanted to do it. I just loved absolutely every single little thing about it. And I was trying not to let myself start it. But I ended up letting myself start it. So I was so desperate to start this chart when I finally let myself do it. I just started it on 18 count Aida, very crunchy 18 count Aida. And it was not gridded and it's a full coverage piece. So instead of using a water soluble marker or something like that, because I don't know about you guys, I struggle with the pre-gridded fabric sometimes because sometimes the lines aren't always where they quite ought to be, and it ends up screwing me up. So I decided to take that same crazy pink thread that I was using for the steady thread sal, and just did like the first 5 columns and rows for this to get started. I've only put one color in. I think it's 938. I'm very 938 right now. I don't know why. It's everywhere. But I just did this many stitches. And you know what? This worked really well because it gives me very, very clean lines and indications of where I want to be, where I want those stitches to be. But it was, and it's just a running stitch. It didn't take too terribly long, but because the fabric is so stiff, it wasn't necessarily the most comfortable thing to do. But I figured, give myself first 2,500 stitches in there at least. And I think I did go a little bit past this when I was doing it. So yeah, I'm not even sure I have all the floss for this. I go down these rabbit holes and like, for some reason, and I thought Poshmark was just for clothes, but they sell everything on there. And a lot of people were selling just lots of DMC floss, just lots of floss, really. But I looked specifically for DMC, and like there were some incredible deals on there. And so I ordered a bunch of floss that I'm assuming someone is selling who either doesn't stitch anymore or is mother or grandmother's or something. And like sometimes it was like 250 skeins of floss. Now, granted, they're all you don't pick your color, but for like $20. So it's not. I didn't feel too bad about it. I was like, for $20, there's going to be enough in there that I can use and use pretty quickly. So I had a fair amount of that come in. And I think from this whole chart and how many colors it is, I think I have maybe 20 that I didn't get from those purchases. So I hope I didn't give away my secret. Did anyone else know that they sell DMC floss on Poshmark? And the other thing that I really like about squirrel. The other thing I really like about ordering it from there is that once the package comes in, you either accept it or don't accept it. So if something isn't what they claimed that it was on the listing, you cannot accept the listing. You cannot accept it. And then they actually send you the postmark, the postage to send it back to the person. Or I'm assuming maybe they might make a deal or something. I don't know. Everything I ordered was exactly what it said it was. So I don't know, but I know that I had to accept it and I liked that. I don't even know how long this video is right now. I'm not sure I want to know. Anyway, the last thing I have to show you, yes, we're finally there, is the Haid Sal that I told myself I was not going to do. And then I did. So I did the crop of Fairy Tale by Dragon Muse. And this is a new start, so there's not an old thing. I want to say, I know I'm not even 2% into it. And I'm really enjoying it. Like, put that up where the light is maybe decent. I'm really enjoying it. I am doing it on 20 count Easy Grid Ada with just called for DMC. I am using 2 strands of floss, and I'm loving the coverage I'm getting, and it's really not too much. I'm not finding it to be too much to stitch, not too thick. So that's where I am. I keep threatening to put this into a proper diagonal. I'm kind of working with a diagonal, but I just get working on something and then I'm like, oh, now I'll go to this. Now I'll go to that. What I have done though is I am trying to work sort of in stair-step diagonals. So I'm not left with like little bits of confetti way back when, like way back. So I get going to a certain point and then I'm like, okay, I'm going to fill in these stair-step diagonals. I guess I can't do that. I'm not even going to try. These stair-step diagonals so that those whole blocks are filled in. And then I kind of squirrel on to something else. Trying to work with that as a guide, like the colors that are in there the most, maybe. And then, of course, grabbing 310 whenever I need to just get some block stitching. So I am sure anyone who watches anything now knows that the Amy Stewart chart was given to us up front. And it is gorgeous and I love it. And I can't decide what size I want to do. I'm trying to scale back and not go for the supersize max color, although I did download it. I'm not going to lie. Because I have a couple of those that I'm working on and I know they're like lifetime pieces at this point. And for this charts that I bought through Stitches So Beautiful, I bought them regular size and then later supersize max color came out where they call it something a little bit different. But, and I was really tempted to go in and pick those up and say, oh no, I want to supersize max color that. I don't want to just do the regular size. But then because I really didn't know when I would be starting them, and I have so many other things to start and so many things to stitch, I'm like, really? I don't know when I'm getting to it. I already have it regular size. It probably doesn't make sense to go up to supersize max color. So yes, I'm trying not to do that. Hopeful to make some good progress on my full coverage stuff. I am really enjoying my full coverage stuff right now. So I'm going to like talk about 2026 plans now, just a little bit before we go into haul. So as I said before, I'm trying to keep my 2026 plans pretty open, pretty fluid, because I don't want to be in that position again where I'm really good at doing it to myself. I know things are going to come up that I want to stitch. Things have already come up that I want to stitch and I want to add to my plans. And I want to leave myself some room for some of that. I also want to leave myself some room to go back and touch WIPs that aren't necessarily in temperature stitching or any other plans. So I'm trying to keep them pretty fluid. So I kept them really pretty simple. I want to keep up on the steady thread sal that I showed you, the 2026 with that one strand per week, plus the weekly stitching, as well as do that same thing on the 2025 sal until I have that one done. So that is 2026 monthly goals for sure. I want to continue my temperature stitching. I want to not fall behind on my temperature stitching. So I really want to try to keep up with that every week as much as possible. If not every month, try to get everything rounded out by the end of the month. So I don't have catch-up stitches or other things like that to do. So that is definitely in the plan, in the goal. I want to at least meet one of the monthly markers for the Modern Folk Embroidery sal every month, so that, and really that is not a ridiculous amount of stitching. When I look at it, it's not. If I just do that and have that as a goal every month, I think I will be okay. I think I will. So I can get that done this year. I just love the piece so much. And I have to say, 2 of my connection mates are doing that piece also, and they have picked these beautiful variegated flosses, and I've got so much FOMO right now. I'm so jealous, and it makes me want to kind of change directions, but I don't want to at the same time. I know I've just got border, so I know that I could, but anyway, I don't know. No, I'm going to stick with what I have. It took forever to untangle that floss after I dyed it, after I coffee dyed it. So Modern Folk Embroidery, I want to keep up with that every month. As far as the Haid style goes, my main motivation there was to get the Amy Stewart chart, which we already got. But my connection mates and I have kind of made up a little game to try to motivate each other to keep going on it, because 3 out of 4 of us are doing the Haid style. So we have a race to a mile with the 5,200 whatever it is stitches, and we're kind of rewarding whoever gets there first. So I would like to ideally, would I love to get the entire thing done this year? Yes. Do I think that's realistic? No. I mean, I'd be having to stitch like 7,000 some stitches a month, and I just don't think with the other things that I have that is very realistic. To get just the 6 pages done is a little over 150 stitches per day. So I'd like to kind of aim for that, aim to get the 6 full pages done. So that's kind of my goal. If I end up, for some reason, getting the whole thing done, then I end up getting the whole thing done. But either way, I'm not going to be heartbroken either way with that. So I do want to try to make some good progress on that every month. And then I've got all my catch-up stitching that I've got listed, and I'm kind of working through that. And it's from Great British Bake Off. It is from Andrew the Runner Stitcher's Whip into Shape. It is from Gridiron Grind. And there's a little bit of temperature stitching on there still that I have to make up. So some of those totals are really big. Some of them are really reasonable. I want to try to get that list cleaned up by the end of the year. And that's part of the reason I'm trying not to overwhelm myself with goals and with plans and all of that stuff, because I know there's other things I want to do. I really want to do Milestone Manor. Super, super motivated to do that. But I'm not letting myself get started in that right now. I need to get some other stuff done first. And I know I can pick that up and start that at any point. Jen the Caffeinated Crafter is doing ongoing Great British Bake Off stitching. I would love to do that too, because I love that show. And I love the whole idea of stitching with what happens on that show. But I still have makeup stuff to do. So yeah, so I'm just trying to keep it pretty fluid. I still want to try to get one fully finished object done every month. Yeah, want to try to do that. I want to, I have on my list to try to get one of my quilting tops. I have lots of quilt tops that are whips, and to try to get one of those finished a month. And a lot of them aren't huge quilts. I mean, they're wall hangings or smaller size quilts. And I have enough of those that are, with just a little bit of attention, could be finished. So I would like to try to get one of those done every month. I haven't set any specific knitting goals, but I have started making sure I have my knitting with me all the time when I'm traveling someplace, especially with doctor's appointments and everything. Those stitches I can get in the waiting room are really helpful. Okay, so yeah, I am going to pause this really quick because I really need to spend some time drinking I'm very, very thirsty right now. Then we're going to break. We're going to go into haul, at least haul that I know that haul that I have remembered and be able to put away. And then we'll just finish up with some quick things that need to happen. So I'll see you in a minute. Okay, I'm back. Grab something to munch, grab something to drink, get something to drink, I guess. I'm kind of organized this a little bit for you guys. Okay, so I'm going to start out with like electronic haul PDF patterns. I'm going to pop these up all around me. The pink Christmas roundabouts from um, Stitching with the Housewives. I just thought those were adorable. And I think I had talked about them on a previous video and really wanting to get them. Well, I did end up getting all of them. Haven't started them yet, of course, but they are going to my pattern stash, and hopefully we will see some of those soon. But yeah, those are just adorable, aren't they? Just love them. Stitching with the Housewives. And the other pattern I got from Stitches So Beautiful was the Santa with a gilded coat. I know a lot of people pick that up. I was kind of waiting, hoping, thinking a start along, stitch along might go on with that. Hasn't yet, as far as I know. But I just loved it. Absolutely loved it. I'm not remembering the name of the designer right now, but I will put that down below when I'm editing this video. Making the videos is not a big deal for me. I can sit and talk. It's the editing and putting everything together that just kills me. So I picked up this Gilded Santa shortly after this one came out. Like I said, they released a Max Color big one, and I think I'm sticking with a regular size. Let's face it, if I get it done, a regular size, I'm doing good. They did come out with one with a green coat that is kind of a companion piece to that. Shortly after I bought this, the sale was still on. I had that in and out of my cart like a million times. I know I'll eventually end up picking it up because it is a really good companion piece to the Santa. But like I said, no matter how good of a deal it is, 53% off is a good deal. It's a great deal. But no matter how good of a deal of it is, if it's going to sit in my pattern stash for months, if not years, maybe not the best way to spend money. But they do, they do have sales pretty regularly. So I am sure I will pick that one up at some point. I'm trying to think what else I have. Oh, so my shirt, like I said, this says my daughter's partner got this for me, and it says cross stitch. You can't see this on the bottom, but it says something like, because stabbing people is wrong. I'm not sure stabbing people always is wrong, but yeah, because cross stitch, because stabbing people is wrong. So a big, comfy, oversized shirt, which I love. For Christmas, I also did get, and I did not bring them in because they're not very exciting, but I did get another, I had asked for it, another set of Nerge hoops, like all of the sizes. I do tend to stitch in hand oftentimes, but I do really like the Nerge hoops. And there's some times and with certain pieces that I really like to use a hoop or something like that. And I do really like the Nerge hoops. I do like Q snaps also, but those Nerge hoops are just such good dimensions oftentimes. And I don't want to, like, if I have a project that's in there, I don't want to take it out and put it in and all of that. So another set of that was great. I also did get a set of Nerge. They're kind of like scroll rods. Again, I had asked for them. They were on my wish list, and I did get them. And there's like different lengths you can get. And it's just a very small little frame that I think I could put on my lap really easily. I do have, if you look back many videos ago, a great big bell pull from the Fine Lines magazine, periodical, whatever it was from years ago. I don't even know if they're still producing it anymore. But I am a good amount of the way through there, and that really needs to be on scrolls because it's very, very long. I mean, it's very, very tall. And so with that, I thought I could start working on that piece a little bit more. I do have I think it's called a Gazelle stand, needlework stand, with all these pieces and all these different sizes of scroll rods. I just have pieces and parts of it that are still in totes from literally when I moved to Kansas 28 years ago. So I need to dig in and see where all that stuff is. Because somebody told me that those are really hard, that those are really desirable. I guess I should put it like that. Like you can't find them. They don't make them anymore. I know it was spendy when I bought it, but anyway, I'm squirreling again. So I did get some other very interesting crafting things for Christmas. A knitting book from my mother, which was, it's interesting. It's very, very interesting. And as well as a book on making baskets, zigzag rope baskets or something like that. I don't need another hobby. But it is interesting. I don't know. I might pick it up and do that. I'm not sure there's a lot of other stitching related things for Christmas to talk about. There probably is that I'm just not thinking about. But so, and I told you this story I told you that story to tell you this one. I had shared before that I have been enjoying making bags. And one of the things that I did for my daughter and her partner as a Christmas present, because both of them had expressed an interest in cross stitching. And Jaleese, her partner, hi Jaleese, I know they watch me. I had given her an embroidery, like for her birthday, an embroidery hoop set. I didn't really give her an embroidery hoop set. I gave her a kit, an embroidery kit that had a pattern on it that I knew that she would enjoy, and it had lots of other stitches. But they had both talked a little bit about learning how to cross stitch because they knew how much I enjoy it and getting into it. And so I made both of them a bag and downloaded patterns and got the fabric and the floss and organized all the floss and got them scissors and needles and got them each a Q-snap and like everything they needed, just packed the bag full of everything they needed. And when I was doing that, I was looking, so I went out on Etsy to look for patterns that I thought that they would enjoy and that they're also very, very much into supporting small artists and local people in their areas. So I wanted to really find something on Etsy. And I ran across the Tidy Stitcher. Now I'm going to double check to make sure that that is who I am talking about. But I ran across, yes, Tidy Patterns. Tidy, like it's not messy, it's tidy patterns on Etsy. If you guys have not found, I don't know whether it's male or female. If you guys have not found that cross stitch artist yet, go look. Oh my gosh. I could have put half of the shop. In fact, I think I did have half of the shop in my shopping cart at some point. I went looking for them. I kind of ran across things for them because I wanted it to be a pattern that was approachable for a first time cross stitcher and also something that they would like and be interested in that didn't have a ton of colors, but had enough to kind of keep it going. And I wanted it, because they're getting married soon and I wanted it to kind of go together. And so I found some patterns there that really paired up very well for them. And so they actually each got 2 patterns and all the material for 2 patterns. But while I was there, like I said, I had most of the shop in my cart at some point, but then I scaled back and tried to tell myself, okay, I know it's a sale. I know it's good. We're just going to bookmark it. We're going to see it. We're going to go back and look later. But I could not resist this one. This set of Christmas trees, the scent of like kind of mid-century Christmas trees that were so much fun. And because of the age of my house and the fact that I love the holidays so much, I allowed myself to buy this for myself. So while I was out there buying patterns for them, really, really wanting to get this started. Also, they're all so fun and they look so much fun to stitch. But go check that out. I am going to link them down below, or at least put them down below somehow. Tidy Patterns. So much beautiful stuff from mandalas to like beautiful birds, beautiful nature pieces. So much, so much. Really good stuff there. So definitely go check that out. I will be starting these soon, hopefully. I don't know. I have so many patterns I love. It's really hard to know what I'll be starting next. It's ridiculous. Other big pieces, other pieces of digital, I guess. And I might have to go back and double check to make sure I'm not forgetting something. I'm going to pause you guys again real quick after this next phase. Was all of the Harry Potter libraries. I know I had talked about that before. Initially, I just had found 3 of them, and I'm just going to pop them up all around me here. So there's Lockhart's library, McGonagall's, Trelawney's, Snape's, and Dumbledore's. I think there was only 5. If I'm wrong, and there's more, let me know. I think at the time I made the last video, I had purchased 3 of them, maybe. Or maybe I just looked at them. So these are from the Cross Stitch Studio. I cannot remember the name of the artist again. I will put them down below, but they are from the Cross Stitch Studio. And why not collect them? I mean, they're only 800 by 800 and will clearly get done in no time. I think maybe that's a lifetime goal that I'm going to get them all stitched. But I'm desperate to start on one. I just don't know which one to start on. I will do them all. I know I will do them all. I will start them all at least, if not finish them all. That is a big, hairy, audacious goal to finish them all. But I'm such a Harry Potter nerd. But I will, and I have a really hard time buying Harry Potter stuff. So, but yeah, I don't know which one I want to start on. Now, visually, I am most drawn to Dumbledore's library and Trelawney's library. Just the angles, and when I look at them, those are the ones that really stand out to me the most out of those 5 patterns. My heart wants to start with Snape's because he is my favorite character out of that group. And you know, you can disagree with me. That's fine. Disagree with me. But my daughter had pointed out once, especially, I don't know, I just have such memories of watching those movies, like with my kids, bringing them to them for the midnight showings at the theaters and reading the books with them and all of that. It's so fun. And when Deathly Hallows came out, my daughter watched it, especially near the end. She has decided, and I'm a little bit there with her, that like Dumbledore is really kind of a villain in the entire thing, because she's like, he was just raising him like what is it, a lamb to the slaughter or whatever, I don't know. Like he was just protecting him so he could die at the right time. And I'm like, yeah, but he did this and he was like, no. And she became convinced, and I'm with her on this, that Snape really kind of is the hero of the entire story. I love the actor. I love the character. And when I'm looking at visually drawn to, it's at least number 3 on the list. So my heart's kind of telling me to start with Snape. So I need your feedback. So I need you to help me choose. Do I go, and I might just move it to that here. So do I go Dumbledore? Do I go Trelawney? Or do I go Snape when I'm starting? Now, I am going to do whatever I start. I am going to do is like extreme cross country with this, because I think you need a cone of 939 for each and every single one of these. And I already have a cone of that in my cart somewhere, as well as the fabric for it. And I think I'm going to use CXC threads. I haven't used those before. And I just thought, why not? Because it's a lot of floss. It's a lot of floss. And although I've got a good amount of DMC, and I've got DMC in so many different colors, when you start looking at, I need 62 skeins, which is like what you need of $9.39 for these, each. And I don't know. I really was just looking at Snape's, but no, I was looking at all of them, and it's really like in the 60s. It just makes sense to buy a cone. you need a good amount of 310, you need a good amount of other things, and then there are pieces of other colors here and there. So it just seemed like all of them are the perfect project for extreme cross country. And I'm loving the one color stitching right now. It's just nice not to fiddle around and having to change colors all the time. I'm also really loving my full coverage. So I know I will be starting one of these soon. I'm trying to save it for my birthday start, but my birthday isn't until the end of April. And I have an inquiry out there with someone who shares the birthday with me, who is also a stitcher and a floss tuber, about trying to figure out a birthday start. And I believe he has these as well. So Stuart, I don't know whether you watch me. I'm mad at you if you don't. I don't know whether you watch me or not, but if you do, you need to get back with me because I know you have some of these charts. I know you do. And so like maybe this would be a good birthday start. I don't know whether I can wait that long, but I know he's got this rotation, this full coverage rotation thing going on too. So Stewarts and Stitches, think about this. Okay. I think that is all the digital haul. I'm going to pause real quick and check like my folder to make sure that I'm not forgetting something. Okay, yeah, that's all the digital haul that I can remember anyway. I might have to like supplement that in future videos. Okay, there's a couple things. I've shown you some of these patterns before, but I didn't have them fully kitted up at the time, and I have taken the time to fully kit them up. This one I don't think I've showed you before. This is The Quilted Farm Girl by Lori Holt. Sorry for the glare. I'm going to try to hold it where there's not as much glare there. She has this whole series of the Quilted Witch, the Quilted Snowman, the Quilted Scarecrow, and the latest one was the Quilted Farm Girl. Of course, I am still working on the Quilted Witch, the first one she has out. I do owe it some stitches from Great British Bake Off, and then at some point it will rotate into temperature stitching. It was in there at one point. To try to get some more work on it. But this one was released, so I did go ahead and pick that up. I picked up the fabric, the recommended fabric to go with it, which is just her 25 count even weave farmhouse. I don't know. It's her vintage cloth. Super soft, nice to work on. I did not pick up, patting myself on the back for that, the thread pack for it, because the thread pack I usually buy these at the Fat Quarter Shop. The thread pack that they had at the Fat Quarter Shop was all Classic Colorworks, and all the rest of them have been DMC. And I don't want to do this in Classic Colorworks when all the rest of them are in DMC. So I appreciate that she has done that, but I am sure I will work it in DMC. And she uses Lori Holt, love her stuff, absolutely love her stuff. I'm not sure it necessarily fits with my aesthetic very well, but I do love her stuff and I love stitching it. And I love quilting it and I like so much of her stuff, but she uses the same colors all the time. So I would be shocked if I didn't have at least one, if not two skeins of every single color of DMC required for that pattern. So pat myself on the back. I didn't spend money unnecessarily. I know I have shown you guys this before, this Praiseworthy Stitches, Simple Gifts, Haunted. Just loved that pattern when I saw it. Just the motifs and everything. It had more colors in it than I thought from looking at it. I did go ahead and get this kitted up. I did purchase, and it surprised me with the color when it came. I purchased the recommended, the called for fabric, which is Oracle by Picture This Plus, and I ended up getting it in 32 count Lugana. This is gorgeous. Oh my gosh, the screen is not doing this justice. It is just gorgeous. It is this beautiful pale lavender with all this interesting modeling in it. I did not think that this was going to be this color. But it is, and I'm very pleased with it. So just beautiful. So I think that I will really enjoy working on that when I finally let myself start it. And then I picked up all of the floss. Now, there are not a ton of flosses in there. They're all specialty flosses. Gentle Arts, Weeks Dye Works. One other one. What is this? No, that's Gentle Arts. I don't know. I do not. So there's purples and some oranges and some whites or light grays. I'm not going to take these out of the bag. I probably do not have enough Old Crow. I think I bought as much Old Crow as they had, but I didn't. It takes a lot of Old Crow, a lot of black. So I'm going to have to pick up some more of that later. It is specialty floss and it is over dyed, so I'm not really worried about like buying it all at the same time and batch, because if there's a little bit of variation between skeins, it's not going to bug me at all. It'll be absolutely fine. So I did get that all kitted up and all ready to go, and that is on my kitted up list. Other things that has come in. Since I'm not sure I have shared this with you, I'm not sure what I have shared with you guys. I usually pick up the Stitching with the Housewives Christmas piece. And this year it's called Dear Santa, and that's what it looks like. I'm trying to avoid glare there. Super cute. Again, I'm not really 100% sure it's my aesthetic, but I always enjoy stitching them. I've got so much other stuff to stitch, and I need stuff to finish. I need to finish them so much, but it is so cute and it is so kind of old timey. So I did pick that up. I do have, I loaded up on Black Monaco from Fat Quarter Shop when they had it. They don't have it anymore, but they did have a special, they asked for a special run of it and they got it and they're sold out of it now. But I did have some Black Monaco left that I'm going to put it on. And then I have all of the Classic Colorworks to stitch that with. So that is all in the haul. I know I've showed you guys this pattern before, but I did get it all kitted up also. This, I want to say croquet. Oh my gosh, I slaughter everything. A go-go, the October sampler. Just absolutely fell in love with this when I saw this. And oh my gosh, she has had so many amazing pieces releasing since this. It's been really hard not to buy, like the Christmas sampler. There's a winter sampler, some beautiful snowman pieces that just came out. Just absolutely love this. And I had to kit it up. I just had to kit it up. But I was wanting to make sure all of the flosses, it's just DMC, but some of the flosses are a little bit light, and the fabric, the recommended fabric that they had, just kind of an off-white, and I just don't think there was a ton of contrast there all the time. And I really wanted to stitch it on something that wasn't just super neutral, I guess. And there's a number of colors in there, so that's kind of hard to do sometime. But I did find, what is this? What did I find? I found this feature cloth. It's called A Little Sassy by Bestitch Me. I know it's really fun when I don't have my glasses on and I can't read anything. So I got half a yard, and it's linen and 36 count. I think it will look beautiful on this. I think Bestitch Me had something on there ready to go fabrics. I think I might need to be a little bit careful with the placement, because these darker pieces, these darker bits right here might cause me issue, but it is a big piece of fabric. So I think I've got a lot of fabric to work with there. And I just think with the blues and the little bit of rusty browns, I think it will just look really pretty on there. I think I might need to avoid this little piece here, but I have half a yard. I have plenty of fabric to work with. So that is where I am planning to put that, what I'm planning to do with that. When I was going through, when I was going through my haul and stuff to get ready for this video, and I saw this, I went, oh gosh, I want to start that. But isn't that true of everything? I just want to crunchy. Sorry. I kind of want to start everything. Patterns, like I said, this is what I know I have picked up and remembered to kind of throw into my little bag. I'm just going to try to do that in the future when stuff comes in. So there might be more. Black Friday sales and after Black Friday sales were so good for so many things. And I ended up picking up the entire set of Houses on Peppermint Lane by Pansy Patch Quilts. And I do very much want to do these all in one piece. So it's going to take a huge piece of fabric, but there's 12 of them, I think. I don't know. Are there 12? However many there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's only 9. So doable. So anyway, these are all, I love Pansy Patch quilts. And these are all, like this is Peppermint House. This is Gingerbread House. Sugar Cookie House. And they're not huge, but there's a fair amount of stitching in each one, I think. Tea House. Cranberry House. I love this one. I'm just a cranberry fan too. What's this one? Pinwheel House. This one is Pomegranate House. Trying to keep the glare off there as much as possible. Needleworker House. How fun is that? One's fun too. They're all fun, honestly. And Christmas House. So yeah, I want, like, they have a layout where they're all in one piece. It is a big piece of fabric, clearly when you do that. But, you know, you only have to do them one at a time. I thought about doing them separately and making little pillows out of them or something, but who doesn't want to spend $500 on framing? I don't know. They have several different series. They have like Houses on Wisteria Lane, I think, Houses on Pumpkin Lane. And they're all so cute and so good. And I've been wanting them for a while. And the big pack of them was on sale. So I indulged and got those. Cottage Garden Samplings, the Cardinal. I do not have the rest of this series. And it's not that I don't like them. It's just that I've got so many other things to stitch. I have all of their fabulous houses. I have that whole series. This is the second round of like their nature series, but I love this Cardinal. I had to, and I'm not on auto ship for these, so I had to wait because they go pretty quick. But I just loved this Cardinal. And since my dad passed, Cardinals just definitely have a very new meaning, and I am seeing them all over the place. And there is one actually, strangely enough, who likes to, not right now, I mean, it's January, but I don't know, maybe it just hasn't been cold. I don't know. One just hangs out in front of my house all the time and shits on my car, like sits on my rear view mirror and takes a shit all the time. There is like cardinal shit on the side. What did I say about using bad language? Constantly. And I know that is my dad. He was always yelling at me about my car not being clean. So I think he is just from the other side, making sure that I have a reason to go clean my car. But yeah, so I saw this Cardinal and knew 100% I had to have it. I don't know when I'm starting it. I knew I had to have it though. So we've got that piece. More Pansy Patch quilts. The Blackbird Sampler. Uh, again, single color piece, like nice, primitive, fun sampler motif designs. Just so much fun. I'm sure I got this around Halloween or something because it just has that vibe. I think that'll be a really fun one to stitch up. Had to add that to my pattern stash. Brenda Gervais, Quaker Snippets 1 and 2. I am okay, let's maybe show these one at a time. I try to avoid glare. That's number 1. I am sure there's going to be more of these. There might be more out already that I just haven't seen. But I did really like these, and these just looked like a pretty quick stitch and were very, very pretty. So when I got the first one and I thought, yeah, I really like that. And then the second one came out, and I was just like, yeah, why not? Let's just connect. Let's just collect these at this point. So I got both of those. This one, I'm sure this was around Halloween also. The Gothic Bat. Let me see, who is this by? It is so dark, I can't even see who this is by. Something, it's up in the corner and it's very small, and I don't have my glasses. How fun is that? I'm sorry, that is such a great pattern. I will be sure to put the artist down here so you guys can see who that is. If I don't remember to do that, yell at me. But the Gothic Bat, again, single color, Halloweeny. How fun is that? Definitely wanting to stitch that. So I had to pick that up. I don't know if you guys like take screenshots. I'm really bad at taking screenshots of things I want all the time. And sometimes I go through those and look at them and I'm like, oh yeah, no, I just need to move that to my cart before I forget or before the pattern becomes unavailable. And the last pattern is the Stitch Witch by the Tiny Modernist that came out there. I have another one of her witches patterns. I do really kind of like all of them. But the one that I have, which I think is the Yuletide Goddess, and then the Stitch Witch, I think they're my favorite of the group. I will probably eventually end up picking up all of them with the intention of doing all of them. So I picked up that one as well. Fabric wise, of course, you can't pass up a good sale on fabric. I think all of these were Black Friday or just after early Black Friday, something pieces. I'm not taking this one out of the very crisp, crumply packaging because I haven't opened it up yet. So this is Fabric Flare, and it is small gray cobwebs. And it's Aida, 14 count Aida. This was just a really, really, really good deal. I honestly don't love Fabric Flare. But I mean, I don't mind them. They're not my go-to. But look at how good those cobwebs are. And just for Halloween stitching, it just seems like it would be perfect. And there was a really good deal on it. So I went ahead and picked that up. I am sure I have a Halloween pattern to put on there. I did pick up, this is a quarter of a yard, fat quarter, 36 count Murky by Picture This Plus. Again, super good sale on and such a fun color. Boy, I am really all about, and it made me think about how it's darker, but it's like similar to that piece of Tornado that I have by Fox and Rabbit. And I didn't even think about that when I ordered it, but it is a little bit darker. The brown's a little bit darker, but it is just fun. And I know 100% I could find something to put on that. So I was super happy to find that. The other pieces are really big. Again, this dyer is new to me. Grace Notes Fabrics. I have not had any of their fabrics before, and Rhys, RHYS, Lugana. It's a full yard and 32 count. And this is stunning also. It actually kind of reminds me of the Oracle a little bit. I'm not going to open the whole thing up because it's a full yard. But as I say as I keep unfolding. But it is just beautiful. kind of a nice gray, like medium gray with some purple undertones in it. Beautiful, beautiful piece of fabric. So looking forward to figuring out what I'm going to put on that. And because I like to stitch all of these big series together, I need these big pieces of fabric to lay them all out on. I would love to do the Fabulous House series all on one piece, but then there's the complication of the bonus house, which gives you 13. And I don't know, do you leave one out? Do you not leave one out? I don't know what you do. It's decision paralysis, which is probably what is keeping me from starting that. And then the last piece of haul that I am remembering to talk about is another huge piece of fabric. It's Flannel Flower by Fox and Rabbit. And this is 28 count linen. I adore Fox and Rabbit's fabric, their linen. It is just some of my favorite, absolute most favorite stuff to stitch on. I can find the 28 counts full yards because full yards on sale often enough where I pick them up every time I find them on a good sale. I would love to get some in a smaller count for some other pieces, but I love stitching on their fabric. And Flannel Flower is such a good neutral with just the right amount of modeling. And there was absolutely no way I could turn that down. I would love it if it was in a little bit smaller, smaller count, but I do love it as it is. And I got a super, super, super good deal on it. So hopefully that wasn't too bad. I am 100% sure there are things that I was missing. But as I was going through and cleaning up, I just tried to throw all of that into a bag. I'll try not to get so sheepish about haul. I just have so much already. I have so very much already. And I was looking through it. Like I said, I have it all on a spreadsheet. I have a WIPs, and then like there's a tab on there for temperature stitching, and then there's a tab on there for things that are all kitted up, things that are partially kitted up that I'm missing just a couple pieces for, like fabric, or I haven't decided on a fabric yet. And then one for patterns, and my pattern one is ridiculously long. And when I look through there are so many things that I want to start, that I have purchased, that I love, that I haven't let myself start. And even the kitted up, there are so many things that are kitted up that I just want to start. And I am all ready to go that I haven't let myself start. So it feels very indulgent to be buying new things, new patterns, new anything. Like I have a ton of fabric. I have a ton of fabric that I'm not at a loss to start for something, to find fabric to start something on ever. But when there's a really good deal and things are beautiful, how do you not pick them up? Because I do have all those patterns that I need to put stuff with anyway. Yeah. So part of me wants to like loosen up and kind of let myself start new things. But I know I would feel better about it if I got some of that really old stuff off the list. And that is really why I'm doing what I'm doing with my temperature stitching, because even though like I said, I think I'm at 38 or 39 WIPs, which isn't an awful number. It really isn't. And I know that it isn't. But yeah, I would just like to get some of the old stuff off. And some of the stuff is so small and will not take very long to get finished. I will feel so much better getting that stuff done and off. And so hopefully I'll feel better about starting new things. And because I am back actively stitching again and not worrying about surgeries and not being able to stitch, hopefully I won't be falling super far behind. And when I cannot stitch, that is when I tend to buy a lot. So there you go. So I kind of talked about 2026 plans. What I left out was WIP Go. I am doing WIP Go this year. I am going to, right over my face, probably put my WIP Go board up there. What I did is I picked 12 WIPs that I have. Most of them are pretty big projects, honestly. A lot of full coverage. The couple sals that I need to get some work done on there. But this is my board. And I just repeated them. I was not creative about it at all. But the whole goal is, and my stitching goal when they come up is just to do 1,000 stitches on them, which is not a huge goal. I just want to make sure I touch all of those things and keep them moving sometime this year. Now, there are some of those on this list. There are a number of them on the list that I owe a fair amount of stitches to. Still, I have some catch-up stitches like Latitude. I love stitching on that. Latitude, Olivia the Forest Witch, I owe tons of stitches on. Treasure Hunt Bookshelf, I owe stitches on. So many of these that are up there, I owe stitches on. So I will be working on those and doing those stitches also, hopefully throughout the year. And there are a couple of them that I owe enough stitches on where they might be finished. If I do all my catch-up stitches, I mean, 6 portals, no, let's face that. That's not going to be finished. But none of the full coverages. But there's other ones that arguably could be finished before that they are called. And if I do end up finishing them before they're called, I'll just sub something else in there. Lord knows I have enough projects. So I tried to kind of focus on my bigger things here, just making sure I get them touched, and then old things for the temperature stitching, not overwhelming myself with different projects, and keeping that flexibility so I can stitch what I want when I want beyond outside of my goals. Okay, so I think we're really coming to an end. I will tell you, I am thinking about a couple different things that I would like to do this year. I have mentioned a couple times that I've really enjoyed making bags. I have been playing around with different things with bags in the break between videos, and I am really considering, don't know if I want to do it yet. I don't need a side gig, but I am really considering starting to sell, thinking about selling some of those, making some of those to sell, I guess. I'm kind of starting a little Etsy shop thing going on. I want to have like a relatively decent inventory, I think, before I do that. So, and I have a ton of fabric and tons of scraps. And I'm really having fun putting together like kind of some crazy quilt bags and doing some other fun things. So I'm kind of thinking about that. I still have a lot of my own projects that are not in bags. So that feels like I'm the cobbler's child when I'm doing that. But I don't know. Still kind of thinking about doing that because I'm really enjoying doing that and having fun. And like I said, I don't need a side gig really, but I'm an accountant. Okay, I teach accounting. There is no creativity there at all. And so my crafting is really my creative outlet. And the thought that I could like fund some of my spending, my haul spending by doing that is very attractive to me. And then also just having that creative stuff and getting that out there. And eventually I will have a bag for every project. So being able to have a reason to keep making bags other than friends and family and things like that. So really thinking about that. And I do like sewing, and I got awful expensive sewing machine, so I might as well put it to use. The other thing that I'm kind of playing around with is designing. I know this sounds very strange because I'm an accountant, but my original plan was to go to art school. And I really my mom is an artist and has an art background, and I did so much of that throughout a lot of my life. And create, like, finding creative outlets is really important to me. And I have played around with the idea of like quilt design, fabric design, lots of different things. And lately I am just really, I have some cross stitch ideas that I'd really like to put together. So I'm not promising that I'm going to get to it, but I have some things that I'd really like to play with. And that October Sky Sampler is one of those things that has really started those juices flowing. And then I also, I think I've gone down this road before, and I have gotten kind of hung up on little things, and that imposter syndrome and what I'm doing is really not that good. I really don't know what I'm doing. I've lost so many of those skills that I had when I was younger, just because I haven't used them. So, but I really started thinking about things that I really, really like to stitch. And also, I don't know. I'll probably, how long is this video already? I'll try to stop scrolling. But I've thought about all that stuff. And I'd really like to I think I'd like to work on that a little bit. So if I do that, and this is my if I do that, I'll probably stitch the pattern up first, but then I'll probably be reaching out to you guys, kind of show you what it is, because I am a big believer in having like test stitchers. That's a big thing in knitting, with knitting patterns, and I've kind of played around with that a little bit too. But like, I think it's very important that patterns be very clear when you are doing them and making sure that things make sense and they're readable and all of that. And so I'm a big believer in like test stitchers, test knitters, all of that. Have other people sit there and stitch it from your directions and make sure it's clear and makes sense to them. So if and when I ever do that, I will definitely kind of put a sample together, and then I would like to give that to people to just kind of see what they think, and like see if there's any suggestions or anything out there. I don't know whether I would eventually end up selling patterns or just giving them away for free. I don't know. But it's that time of year. I'm not really a big resolution person, but I would like to look at doing some of that stuff, I guess. So with that, I am sure I have droned on forever. Hermione Peel, please tell me if tell me which it is. I'm dying to know. And please get a hold of me to claim your gift card. If not, I'll be drawing a new winner. So kind of stick around for that. I've drowned. I hesitate to think how long this is at this point. But thank you. If you've made it this far, thank you very much. I hope to be recording every 2 weeks. That remains to be seen whether that happens, but my goal kind of is every 2 weeks, and to kind of get back in the swing of things where I don't have 23 things and months worth of a haul to show you. And hopefully we can keep these videos less than 3 hours, which is what I'm afraid this is at this point. So take care. Thank you for joining me. Find something to stitch, keep stitching, and I will see you next video. Thanks.